Welcome back to Flavors and Knowledge, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of cooking, the science behind ingredients, and the rich stories that make food so much more than just a meal. I'm your host, Noah Mitchell, speaking from Chef Walter's Cooking School in Rhode Island, USA, bringing you narrated, factual culinary education with honest food talk and a few opinions along the way. So let's explore the diverse world of flavors together. This segment is titled, How to Make Spanakopita, a love letter to Greece's flakiest pie. Close your eyes and imagine this. You're sitting at a tiny marble table in a narrow Plaka alleyway. The sun is warming the back of your neck, a cat is napping lazily at your feet, and someone across the street is playing a bouzouki. Then, the waiter places a plate in front of you. It's golden. It's shattering into 1,000 buttery leaves as you look at it. Steam rises from a blanket of spinach and feta, carrying the scent of fresh dill. That, my friends, is spanakopita, and I am about to show you how to capture that exact moment in your own kitchen. Spanakopita literally translates to spinach pie, but that's like calling the Mona Lisa a painting of a woman. It is the iconic pie of Greece, a dish that bridges the ancient and the modern. Long before phyllo existed, the Greeks were making pites, rustic pies filled with wild greens foraged from the hillsides. They called these greens chorta, and they have been a staple of the Greek diet for thousands of years. It was peasant food, yes, but it was also genius, a way to take the earth's free bounty and turn it into a hearty meal. The game changer came later, during the years of the Ottoman Empire, when the art of stretching dough until it was as thin as a leaf, phyllo in Greek, was perfected. When that tissue-thin dough met the ancient filling of greens and cheese, spanakopita as we know it was born. It became the food of celebration, of fasting during Lent, using olive oil instead of butter, and of every family gathering where Yaya would roll up her sleeves and work her magic. Every Greek grandmother has a secret. Some add a splash of sparkling water to the filling to keep it light. Others swear by a tiny grating of nutmeg, just a whisper, because nutmeg has a bizarre and wonderful ability to make spinach taste more like itself. And then there is the ultimate debate, butter or olive oil for the phyllo. Butter gives you that rich, diner golden crisp. Olive oil gives you a more rustic, savory, and traditional Lenten version. But the one rule everyone agrees on: squeeze your spinach. If you don't wring every drop of water out of the cooked greens, you will end up with a soggy bottom, and in the world of pie, that is the only unforgivable sin. But don't panic, because I have a tested recipe for you to attempt in the privacy of your kitchen. All right, enough talk. Let's cook. We are going to make a big, glorious, pan-sized spanakopita that feeds a crowd and makes you look like a hero. Don't be scared of the phyllo. It's easier to tame than you think. Part 1. The green gold, the filling. We start with the heart of the dish. Grab your largest skillet and set it over medium heat. Glug in about a 1/4 cup of good olive oil. Toss in 1 large chopped onion and let it sweat until it's soft and see-through. Now the main event. You need 2 pounds of fresh spinach. Wash it well. Spinach is sandy and nobody wants a gritty pie. Pile it into the pan. It will look like an impossible mountain. Don't panic. Grab your tongs and start turning it. Within minutes, that mountain will collapse into a vibrant, dark green valley of goodness. Here is where you have to be ruthless. Dump the spinach into a colander and press down with a spoon. Press hard. Let it sit and cool while you prepare the rest. The liquid you discard is the only thing standing between you and crispy phyllo glory. In a big bowl, crumble 8 ounces of feta cheese. Use the good stuff, the briny, creamy blocks from Greece. Crack in 2 eggs, chop a big handful of fresh dill and parsley, and add a pinch of nutmeg if you're feeling like a yaya. Now grab that cooled spinach, squeeze it again, yes again. Chop it roughly and throw it in the bowl. Mix it all up. Taste it. Add a crack of black pepper, but be careful with salt. Feta is salty enough. Part 2. Building the phyllo fortress. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees F, 175 degrees C. Melt 1 stick of butter, or use olive oil for a dairy-free version. Pull your store-bought phyllo dough out of the fridge. Unroll it gently and cover it with a lightly damp towel. This is crucial. Phyllo dries out and cracks if it even looks at a draft. Brush your baking dish with butter. Now let's layer and begin the foundation. Lay one sheet of phyllo in the dish, letting the edges flop over the sides. Brush it lightly with butter. Repeat this with half of your phyllo sheets. Don't stress about perfection. Rustic is charming. The bottom should be a thick, buttery stack. The filling. Spoon that gorgeous green mixture over the phyllo and spread it flat. Now layer the remaining phyllo sheets exactly as you did before. One sheet, brush, next sheet, brush. When you're done, take that sharp knife and score the top layers into squares or triangles. This makes serving later a breeze. Give the very top a final, generous butter massage. Before it goes in the oven, carefully pour about a quarter cup of soda water over the top. The legend says it creates steam that makes the layers lift and separate like a dream. It is also known as the Yaya magic. Part 3. The golden hour. Slide that pan into the oven. Set a timer for 45 minutes, but keep an eye on it. You are waiting for a transformation. You want the top to turn into a landscape of golden brown hills and valleys. The edges should be caramelized, and the aroma should have your family wandering into the kitchen asking, "What is that?" When it looks like a magazine cover, pull it out. Now the hardest part. Wait. Let it sit for at least 20 minutes. I know it hurts. I know you want to dive in. But if you cut it now, the filling will run out like lava and the layers will collapse. Give it time to settle. After the torture of waiting, slice along those scored lines. Lift out a perfect square. Hear that crunch? That's the sound of grease. Serve it with a squeeze of lemon, a hunk of bread, and maybe a glass of ouzo. As the Greeks would say, kali orexi. You didn't just make dinner, you made a memory. The content for this episode is written by Chef Walter. In conclusion, thanks for joining me on today's journey through flavors and knowledge. If you would like recipes associated with our podcasts, be sure to visit and subscribe free to our newsletter. All the links will be on the show notes. Remember to taste thoughtfully, cook with passion, and keep exploring the endless world of food. Subscribe for more, share with a fellow food lover, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, keep your eyes on the fire and stay curious. This podcast is produced by Simval Media, USA.